Destiny here, coming at you with a mindset tip or trick that you can utilize throughout the week on this magical Monday. Don't forget that this is a trick that you can utilize throughout the week for yourself to break through some of the bad habits that might be coming up for you, and also share these with your friends and family. So don't forget, sharing is caring. All right, so what are we talking about today? Couple things, and they interweave so beautifully that I was like, I gotta do both. It's gotta happen. So here's the thing. Did you grow up thinking or knowing that there were certain things that you could or couldn't do? Okay. Give me a thumbs up if this was you. Okay. Some of these things came on later in life. So, for example, some of the systems that we currently exist and live in is with things like working in corporate, where you have to work 9 to 5, right? Or you only get 2 weeks of vacation until you hit like a certain amount of time with the company and then you get more, right? So, these are all like beliefs that are created from the systems in which we are living in. Some of the systems also include the poverty, right? And growing up in a place where you were not given opportunities, you barely had enough money for electricity, food, all of that. And whether you were the adult or the child in this situation, there was a system that was preventing you from having that. But have you noticed how some people are able to get themselves out of that system and then some don't? And you kind of sit there and you're like, well, why? How come this happened to this person, but this didn't happen to another person? And so that's what I want to address and talk about today. Because no matter how we grow up, yes, there are the systems that are pushing down on us. The only thing we can control is ourselves and what we think about the systems, what we are taught about the systems, and even the things that we are taught about the systems is not in our control, but what we believe about what we are taught is in our control. Now, there are some things where like it's just so overwhelmingly present that it's in the entire neighborhood or it's in the entire city, and there's this like poverty mentality, right? And that's just one of them. And so it's really difficult as a child to be like, no, I don't want that, because we're sponges, right? We're sponges and we're sucking all of this up. But as an adult, we can be like, wait a minute, hang on. How can I get out of this? I don't like this. I don't want this. What can I do? Right? And those are the thoughts that start the breaking of the system. Okay. Now, what brings those thoughts on is constant and consistent failure. And I know that feels like it sucks because none of us really want to fail. But if we think about this, we fail the first time, we might not even notice it. Or something happens to us that we might not notice until somebody brings it to our attention. But then if it keeps happening the second and the third time and the fourth time and the fifth time, we are now aware of this, and it's fucking annoying and it's irritating, right? But that's the awareness of the failure where you're at the point where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. This doesn't feel good. I don't like it. I want out. I want something different. I want the change. I want to make the change to get me the hell out of this situation right this second. I don't like it anymore. And that's the part where it gets really, really good and juicy. Because now that you're aware of the failures and the failures happening over and over and over again, or just not even the failures, but just bad stuff happening over and over again, and you're like, nah, I don't want any more of this. You are literally drawing a line in the sand saying no more. That's when you can start adjusting and making a difference and making a change and start looking at like, wait a minute, how come it's like this is happening to me? What's going on? And controlling yourself and your behavior in a way that can get you the fuck out of where you don't want to be anymore. Now, business owners, I'm for real talking about you too. Because see, what happens is we take this into our business, okay? And so let's say we decided as a child, or we were taught as a child, that, maybe we weren't good enough. Hello, imposter syndrome, right? So we were taught that we were not good enough. So now here we are in business and we're trying things out and we're testing things out and we're giving things a go and then we fail and we fail and we fail and we fail. Most people will just give up and run back to a job and being an employee again. But what if instead you got so pissed off or so annoyed or so irritated with the failure that you found another way to do something, that you changed and you adjusted something in yourself to say, like, no more drawing the line in the sand. I don't want this. And here's an example. Pay attention, right? We've all heard this where we're very much like the five people that we hang around the most, that we're closest to. Take a look at your five people. Are they five people that are like bringing you up, keeping you neutral, or bringing you down, right? If they're in either of the bottom two, you may want to change the people that you're hanging around, right? Find other people that will lift you up and will push you forward and will support you in moving forward, right? So here's the thing though with having those people. Originally, when we have this negative mindset of not being good enough, for example, we attract people to us that have that same belief, that have that same thought process for themselves. Why? Because it's freaking comfortable. Why? Because we're all doing pretty much the same thing as far as our behaviors are concerned, right? So it's like, oh, here's my little friend basket and I really love them and this is who I want to hang around because of the belief that we had established. But when you decide, I don't like that belief anymore, I don't like the circumstances that I'm in anymore, I want to get the fuck out, and you draw that line in the sand and you decide, you know what? If I chose that I was not good enough, or I bought into that bullshit story, or I believed someone else's story, why can't I write my own story? Why can't I have the story be that I am good enough and that I'm great at this? Watch how the people around you also start to shift and change, right? This happens in business too, and it happens with your money in business. So if you're sitting there and you're around people who are only making a certain amount or just enough to cover the bills or just maybe a little bit extra to buy themselves a little something, but barely getting by, you might want to change the people you're hanging around and draw that line in the sand that you do deserve to have more, that you do deserve to like make a difference in the world how you want to make that difference, that you do deserve to be successful, and that you deserve to have what you want in life. You're not asking for a freaking mansion. You're asking to be like legit comfortable and feel good about yourself and your business and to help and support other people. That is very different than, oh, I just want to make money, right? But you got to draw that line in the sand. You've got to be willing to have and look at all of the failures that you've had in the past and get really pissed off and annoyed at them, get irritated at them, and want to draw that line in the sand so you can have what you want now. Not 10 years from now, not 5 years from now, but like legit right now. And I'll tell you, this is very accurate because I grew up thinking that I wasn't good enough. So I always tried to over excel so that no one could tell that I wasn't good enough, until there was one day where I literally was like, wait a minute. I chose into someone else's bullshit stories. Now, there were a lot of someone else's bullshit stories when I was a kid. So there were a number of people's stories that I chose into, but the story was the same. And I was like, I chose into that. I want to, how do I choose out? What could it look like for me to choose out? And then I was like, oh, boom, figured that piece out, chose out. And sure enough, the people that were closest to me, I was like, I'm not in that not good enough field. I don't know. That doesn't feel right for me anymore. And they started going, oh, you're weird. Oh no. And started drifting away. Okay. But that allowed me now the new space to elevate with new people in my life that can support me in moving forward. And that's why I am so excited and so stoked about this money class that I'm having. Make more money now because you deserve to have it now. But it's going to put you in a group of like-minded individuals who are, they've looked at their failures, they've acknowledged that they have failed, and they want to do something different because they want to make the money that they feel like they deserve to make now. Not the money they thought they deserved to make back then, but right now. And you're surrounding yourself with people that all want the same thing. Talk about a mastermind, right? So if you're interested in this, I would love to talk to you more about it. I'm going to put the link for the wait list below, but this is how it all moves and mushes together and gets all like interweave, like it all weaves together. All right. So that being the case, if you are interested, click on the link below, sign up for the wait list. Let's get you going because this is going to be a big movement that's going to break down the bullshit systems of working 9 to 5 and oh, I can only go on vacation 2 weeks out of the year and I can only make enough, money to get by. Like, bullshit. Let's knock all of that out of the water because you deserve what you want to have now, not later. Cool? All right. So until next week, peace.